Welcome back to the Cowboys Fan Show, everybody. In this one, we're going to have a look around the division. Just to start it off real quick, Dallas is atop the division at 4-1. Philly suffered their first loss this week, 3-1. Don't even want to talk about the Redskins and the Giants. We'll cover them in just a second. But Dallas is just on fire in this division. I think they're a lock to win the division. Carson Wentz had an interception. Didn't have a bad game per se, but he didn't have the game that we're accustomed to seeing him have.
Yeah, and the interception that he threw actually came, they were in a situation where they had to get down the field and they had to score some points, and he had to take some chances and open that up. So he's been playing safe. He's had the ability to play safe through the first three games because they already had a bye week. Because their defense is doing such a good job. So he's been able to play it safe and really just be a game manager. And when he had to open it up, there it is, first interception, and a bad day for Carson.
So, unfortunately, we do have to talk about the New York Giants. They were playing the Green Bay Packers on Sunday Night Football. Let's have a look inside that one. This one going down in prime time on NBC. Aaron Rodgers will pick it up here late in the third quarter. Giants down 9-17, and there's Randall Cobb getting a first down. Mason Crosby splits the uprights with that one. Green Bay goes up 20-19, and here's Eli Manning handing off to Darkwa, gets a big first down there for the Giants. Now, this Giants offense, they've been struggling, Scott. They're only averaging 17 points per game this year.
And you even see it in the highlights. I mean, with the big runs that they were getting, I mean, those are in the fourth quarter, and they're down several possessions. The defense, they give you that kind of play, you know what I mean, because they want you to keep the clock running. They'll let you run the ball a little bit. Yeah, not the team they were in week one, that's for sure.
Absolutely not. And, and I think being week one, the defenses are still trying to find their chemistry, playing that real game speed. You can run all the scrimmages you want in practice and OTAs in the offseason, but nothing really comes down, it compares to real game speed. So I think, we say it all the time, Dallas should have won that game. However, the Giants' defense just played out of their minds in that one, and they've been doing really well.
Well, we touched on this last week also with the way that the Giants played in week one is they were fresh.
Right.
And they're playing these, they put a lot of money into this defense, a lot of money. And they're playing these guys a lot of snaps. I mean JPP and then Olivier Vernon on the outside, they're playing 90% of the defensive snaps for this team. And I think it's clear to me that even before midseason, which is what we touched on last week, they're going to start breaking down. I think they're breaking down a little bit, and it's easier to score on these guys right now.
Already, and it looks like Miami made the correct decision in not giving Olivier Vernon that giant contract, letting him go to New York. I mean, he did have a really good first couple of weeks, but as you said, 90% of snaps every single week. This is a very violent game. It takes a toll on your body, especially as being an outside linebacker, defensive end. Those guys are just bashing each other, play after play after play.
Yeah, he's going against every team's left tackle, their best offensive lineman every week. It's hard to just keep that up, especially in this league.
And Odell Beckham Jr. had himself, an average day. An average day against Green Bay. I expect the Dallas Cowboys receivers to have a better day against that Green Bay defense on Sunday. But we'll move along now. Let's talk about the Redskins taking on the Ravens. This is a rivalry game per se, as these two teams are so close to each other in distance. Now we'll pick it up here. First quarter, the Baltimore Ravens already on top, 7-0. And here's a punt return from the Redskins. Kicks on the Jets. See you later. That was about an 80-yard return there.
Yeah, they say that you got to win 2 out of 3 aspects of a game to take it, special teams being one, and they pulled that one off.
And the Redskins will tack on a field goal here, barely squeaks it through. Actually, doesn't even squeak it through. It looked like he did from that angle. 6-10 is the score. Matt Jones picks up the first down on 4th and 1 early in the second quarter. This was a big defensive battle, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not terribly worried about these Redskins right here. I mean, we went into their house and we beat them. They're playing a little bit better right now, but Baltimore has been flat the last several weeks, to be completely honest with you, and they have a very depleted wide receiving core. It made them very one-dimensional and easy to play against, and the next time we have them, they're coming to Jerry World.
Yeah, and you said about that Baltimore receiving core, how they're so watered down. People may remember Steve Smith from the Panthers, number 89. That's when he was in his prime. Steve Smith is now the #1 option for this Ravens offense.
Yeah, absolutely. And they did well early on in this game, and then I think he left in the first quarter with an injury. He's getting up there. It's just hard to stay healthy in this league. And after that, it was pretty much over. I mean, they were very one-dimensional. The Baltimore's had a lot of trouble running the ball this year, and Washington was able to capitalize. So I think that their record has them looking better than they really are, in my opinion. And I'm just not terribly worried about those guys. I still think that Philadelphia is far and away our most dangerous contender for the division title this year.
Well, the Redskins were able to hold on and win that game 16-10. As we said, it was a very, very defensive battle out there in Baltimore. So we'll move along now to those Eagles you were just talking about, Scott. They were taking on Detroit up there in the Motor City, and we'll start it off. Ryan Matthews, he coughs it up. Detroit recovers, and as you can see here on the screen, there's 2 minutes, 34 seconds left in this one. Philly just nursing the lead, and this is the last thing that you can have happen.
Yeah, this was a tough one, especially because Detroit, they came out on fire. I think Matt Stafford had 3 first-half touchdowns, and I think he was close to, if not over, 200 yards in that first half. And then Philly's defense, they came out, and they really kind of shut them down in the second half, but you just can't keep a good guy down, you know.
Matt Stafford finds Tate there, and the Lions will kick the field goal with 90 seconds left. They are victorious over the Eagles, 24-23. Carson Wentz had himself a day. He was 25 for 33 throwing the ball, 238 yards, 2 touchdowns through the air, but he had that 1 interception. Finally threw the pick.
And yeah, right after that last highlight, I mean, they kicked the field goal and they go ahead. I think they went ahead by, what, 1 point?
Yeah.
So it was up to Philly to come downfield and just get in a field goal range, and they didn't have a lot of time, so he was forced to throw that ball, and he had to put up a couple of dangerous passes and take those chances that we talked about he didn't have to take in the first 3 weeks of play, and threw the big INT, and now Dak is sitting up top, still going for that rookie record, most attempts without an interception.
He does have the rookie record. He's actually now challenging Tom Brady. Tom Brady started off his career with 162 pass attempts without throwing an interception. Dak is right on his heels. So let's see if Dak's able to break the Golden Boy's record.
He's at 155 right now.
Yeah,
so I mean,
155.
7 more attempts. That's going to be like, first half next week, no INTs. He's going to break a Tom Brady record.
And I think that the Eagles' loss at Detroit was, I would say, the biggest upset of the weekend.
Yeah, I would agree. I thought Philly was a shoo-in. I thought that their front 7 was going to be able to stop this. Golden Tate had not been playing well for Detroit up until this game, and he really stepped it up, and he gave them that extra weapon that they didn't have before. But we have those. We have 2 receivers, 3 in Beasley now that they can step up and do it. So I think we're a better team than Detroit. I think that we've got Philly and in Dallas if we have to. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was actually Theo Riddick having himself a big day early on in the game for Detroit. Had 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. A lot of people are probably saying, "Who's Theo Riddick?" And this guy was able to get out there and have himself a day. I really don't think the Eagles' defense is all that it was cracked up to be. Seeing how Detroit was able to shred them through the air, any team that has a good pass attack, I think can shred those Eagles.
Yeah, and actually you had touched on this during the break. Was Amir Abdullah went out in week
2.
Week 2.
Yeah.
So their offense isn't, and Golden Tate had been having a lot of issues and whatnot. So they had a couple of backups in there, some guys that were struggling, and this offense was able to go in there and break down that and just destroyed them in the first half.
Of course, and the one big name that they're lacking, people forget, number 81, Calvin Johnson. Megatron.
Yeah.
He just retired this last offseason, and Matt Stafford, the former UGA quarterback, he was able to go out there, have himself a day. So, as we said, Dallas does sit atop of the NFC East for now. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with more of the Cowboys Fan Show.
Let's go Cowboys!